Hey everyone, I just finished reading this book, which I can't show you because I read it on Kindle, called Against All Odds, the remarkable true story of how a street kid became a millionaire. Now, it's written by a guy called Jeffrey Lestz, which is Lestz. Yeah, that's right. And I've actually met Jeff Lestz. I've met him a few times, um, and I knew he was the head of this company, which is now a massive company. And he's always been a really, really, really nice guy. Now I say that because a lot of people who are the heads of companies have got their heads up their own asses. Um, Jeff is one of the nicest, most down-to-earth guys you could ever meet. But that's interesting because of the book. Now you can tell from the book the remarkable story of how a street kid became a millionaire. It's a bit of a rags to riches story, but I read a lot of these biographies, and I have a lot of discussions with a lot of people about, how come some people turn out so good and some people turn out so bad? Uh, you know, I don't mean in unfortunate circumstances. I mean like genuinely bad. They make nothing of themselves. They do nothing. They just, you might call it a failure. But it depends on how you define success, of course. What Jeff Letts went through, oh my God. I'll tell you this, I read the book in one sitting. It's about 316 pages, but I read it in one sitting. Maybe it's because I met the guy, but it really pulled me in. I mean, this is a kid who went through so much. I don't want to give too much away, but, stuff. If it happened to anybody else, you'd think, they shouldn't have made it to 20. They should have been dead. They should have been in prison. They should have been. It's almost it's really quite remarkable. Um, I mean, one of the things about the story is recently I've been having a lot of discussions about adversity can be quite a good thing, and the reason I say that is because until I started a job, I started about, I don't know, a year and a half ago, a year ago, maybe about a year ago, where I have to go and meet lots and lots and lots and lots of people and find out about them. Um, I'd never ever met in my life anybody with no GCSEs. I thought it was impossible. I thought, how can, all you have to do is show up and pay attention. You don't have to be smart. GCSEs, sure, they're harder now than they used to be and all of that. But it's amazing the people I meet, and I meet people from all over the world. This is London. The people I meet who, they've never, they've never had any real difficulty. They've always had a roof over their head. They've never had to learn a new language or anything. And half of them I meet, and you talk to them, and they're in a rubbish situation which they want to change. And then you ask them, so how did you do school-wise? Well, I haven't got any GCSEs, and it blows my mind. Whereas I meet other people who let's say have come here because they fled from a war zone. They've seen awful things. They've seen parents killed, family members killed. They've seen family members raped. They've been tortured. They come here at about the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, and they manage to get 9, 10, 11 GCSEs, and they do all right. But getting back to the book, a certain amount of adversity can really bring out what's best in a person. And the author of this book, he had a lot of adversity. I mean, if you read it, all I'll tell you about it, because I don't want to give too much away, because it just comes, it's like you're reading it and it just sneaks in these sucker punches. You don't see them coming. You think, wow, and then that happened. I mean, the guy was an orphan before he was 10, and he was a drug dealer when he was 13, and homeless. And now he's incredibly successful. So it's a beautiful story for that respect. It's nicely written. It's got lots of photographs in it of him and his family, which I always think is nice in a biography because it helps you make the story real. But it's certainly something that really drew me in, even if I'd never met the guy. It's something that really drew me in, and it made me think, what is it that makes some people successful when they face adversity? Because most people, if they'd gone through that hell, they'd be dead or mad. Yeah, I mean, the guy spent time in an asylum as well, so there you go, read the story. All right. But how he ended up is something truly remarkable. I think adversity is important because if you get too comfortable and you don't try, then you never realize what you're capable of. And especially if you've got no role models. I mean, all these people I meet with no GCSEs, it's like, what hardship have you got? None. But then you've done nothing. It's almost like everybody's got a sleeping potential, and you've got to prod it a bit. You've got to poke it with a hot poker, and then it wakes up. Some people don't have it, and they'll just crumble. So that comes to maybe what's really important for being successful is grit, which I think is what Jeff calls it in the stories, grit. you don't need that much talent to be successful. You don't need that much talent to be happy. And I think being happy is part of success. There's no point having all the trappings of what you might call success, money, big house, cars, and being miserable. Then you're a failure, as far as I'm concerned. Or having all of that and having a shittier relationship, then you're a failure. And just being married to the same woman all his life as well. So that, I think, is a mark of very good character. But yeah, it's just, this is a bit of a rambling one. But seriously, sorry I can't show you a picture of it. It's because I've got it on Kindle. The cover is like is a manhole cover, a drain cover in the street, and on one side are a pair of sort of really worn out, smelly looking shoes, and on the other side are a pair of like what they called brogues, Oxford brogues, really nice smart shoes, business shoes. And yeah, Against All Odds, the remarkable story of how a street kid became a millionaire by Jeff Lestz, Lestz. Enjoyable read, very good read, very eye-opening read, especially if you're interested in, what happens when people face adversity, how they overcome it, what they can achieve. Definitely recommend it. Maybe because I read it all in one sitting and I was a bit tired. It wasn't as much of a roller coaster ride as a lot of other books, and I enjoy a bit of that. I enjoy watching horror and I enjoy speed and everything else. The physical activity, not the drug. But yeah, read it, get it. It's on Kindle. I'm sure it will come out as a paperback, a hardback. 7, 8 out of 10. Very good read.